What's up guys, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Curtis and today I'm going to teach you guys how to make fresh homemade pasta from scratch. No pre-made noodles, just raw ingredients like these right here, a little bit of patience, and we're going to try and make something beautiful today. So to start making your dough, you're going to get these 4 ingredients together right here. You're going to get just under a cup of all-purpose flour, or 100 grams. You're going to get 3 teaspoons of warm water and mix it with 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and 1 egg. Now this is good for 1 serving. I'm making it just for myself today, just to show you guys how to make it, but you know, just multiply everything by however many people that you're serving. So let's get started. All right, so let's get started mixing here. Let's just clear the board here. We're gonna start off with our flour. Just kind of dump that right down right there. Now, the first key kind of fundamental of making this dough, you're gonna wanna make it into this little volcano kind of shape here. You're gonna make a well just right in the center of it here. That's where we're gonna put our egg. All set up. Next thing you're gonna do, just crack the egg right in the center there. Don't be worried if it spills over. You can always fix that later by just throwing some flour over it. It kind of stops the egg from running away. Gives it a little bit more of a solid consistency. Then, just from here, before we add our warm water and salt and our olive oil, we're gonna start mixing. All right, let's mix this together. I usually like to break the yolk first. That way it doesn't break later when you're mixing around and then all of a sudden you have all the egg yolk running off this side of the cutting board. So just kind of pack it together here. You don't have to be too rough with it. It's still pretty, you know, it's essentially just flour with an egg in it. So just really mix it in as much as you can. Get your fingers in there. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. That's the number one thing from all of this, as you can see. So my sister and her husband actually taught me this recipe. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Brittany and Joffrey for teaching me the pasta recipe. Okay, now, once you get the dough to kind of, it's still kind of falling apart, whatever, but you know, the egg is contained inside the flour. That's when you can kind of put it all together in one solid piece. And we're gonna do that well thing that we did at the beginning. So just roll a little hole, a little well into the top of the dough once it's all put together here. And then you're gonna, my fingers are a mess. We're gonna add the olive oil first. So we're just gonna put that right in the middle of the well there, 1 teaspoon of olive oil. And then we're gonna mix around, really get that oil in there. Now this is gonna help the flour kind of smooth out, not be so, you know, cakey. That'll give the dough a more smooth texture to it, more solid, like you would see a finished dough. And the olive oil, when you go to actually cook your pasta, once we get it all pressed out and into the shape that we want, that's gonna help keep the pasta noodles from sticking together inside the pot with the boiling water. Because then you'll just essentially have one big noodle in your pot when you try and cook it later. All right, let's finish mixing this around and then we'll add our warm water. All right, after really working that olive oil in a lot more, we're gonna do one last little well in the center and just add that 1 teaspoon of sea salt and 3 teaspoons of warm water. We're gonna add just a little bit at a time. So we'll do about half. Start off with, no comment. Let's get this mixed around. Now the water is what's gonna put this dough all the way together. So right now, so before we were just mixing around the flour and the egg and the olive oil, you know, they were all just meeting each other inside the dough. But now the water is what is going to glue this whole thing together. So just, you know, I mean, if you're looking right now, just shortly after we put that water in, the dough is already starting to be a lot more of a solid one piece rather than all of this. All right, so just keep kneading this dough together, keep pressing it down. See, we're starting to really get a good solid piece here. It's still a little floury, but we've got a little more water left to add in. It should be, I don't know, that's what, size of a small apple is about what you want. Throw that back down there. We're gonna add another little well. One last time in the center. Add the rest of our water. Mix it with salt. Now, be very careful. It's gonna get messy. Make sure you got a lot of flour on your cutting board or whatever surface you're kneading your dough on. Because once you add the water, you don't want this to get stuck to the board, because then you'll just have to scrape it off and start all over again, basically. Let's get a little more flour on this board, actually. that. Spread it around. That way we get it on not just the board, but also our hands. Because our hands, you don't want it stuck to your hands either. So basically, if it's too sticky, add some flour. If it's not sticky, add some water. It's pretty simple. Just kind of keep the kneading process up. You know, stop when you're ready, when you think you've got a good looking dough. It should be smooth on all edges. It should act almost like a Play-Doh kind of thing. Almost like a molding clay. You want to knead this dough for about probably 10 minutes or so until it gets this looking something kind of like this. Play-Doh consistency. It looks, you know, kind of almost like a dark yellow, kind of halfway to brown. So that looks really good. We're gonna get out the pasta presser or the pasta machine, whatever that guy is up there, and we're gonna start shaping this thing, and we're almost done. All right, so next we're gonna get out our pasta maker. If you don't have one of these, you can use a rolling pin. It works just as well. But for cutting up your noodle pieces, you might have to use a pizza cutter or a knife or anything that you could use with whatever shape you want to do. But for this, it makes it a lot easier. All right, let's just get this set up here. Perfect. All right, yeah, let's roll our pasta noodles. All right, now we got this all set up. I just realized I don't have a rolling pin. All right, let's see. Perfect. All right, we're just gonna use our bottle of olive oil to roll this flat, because you wanna make sure that this is flat before you stick it in this machine, or else you'll break it. I don't recommend this because you're pressing down, not very hard, but still pressing down on glass. It could break, it could get in your pasta, it could ruin the whole meal, and a pretty expensive hospital bill. So I'm gonna do this carefully without recommending it to anyone watching. Get a rolling pin, just get this as flat as you can, and then we're gonna put it through the pasta maker until it's nice and thin and ready to cut. Try this out here. Oh, okay. This is actually working pretty well, considering, but don't do it. Don't do this. See this? Don't do it. Don't ever use it. I think it's ready for the machine. All right, now that we got our dough, you know, nice and flat, maybe about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch thick, we're gonna run it through our pasta maker. There's a bunch of little levels on the side of it here. It goes from 1 to 9, 9 being the thinnest and 1 being the widest. So let's move this here back to 1, and basically we're gonna do 1 pass, crank it through all the way through 1, and then 2, and then all the way to 8. All right, 1 more pass on these noodles. I'm gonna put this bad boy onto 8. Make sure you use 2 hands, that way the dough doesn't flop all around. 1 more pass with the pasta maker. Get it nice and thin. All right, see, 1 egg, 1 serving, and you get this long boy piece of dough right here. That's enough for 1 person. More than enough for 1 person. All right, now that's nice and thin. We'll do the hand check. You'll know it's ready when you can see your fingers behind it. That means it's ready to shape. Now to shape your pasta noodles, if you are fortunate enough to have a pasta maker with you, it actually comes with a couple of attachments on the back. So normally it's just this right here to flatten out the dough to get it ready to shape. These 2 little attachments at the back are the shapers. This first one right here, that's for fettuccine noodles, like the wider noodles. And then these right here are for the spaghetti noodles. We're gonna use this one today for spaghetti. Just pop that on the back there. And just like putting it through the flat part of the pasta maker, let's make this a little easier to handle here. Just kind of fold it over on itself on top. We're gonna move the crank here to the back in our desired pasta noodle shape. And we're just gonna crank that soldier boy till spaghetti noodles come out. You! All right, now that our spaghetti noodles are all perfectly shaped and ready to go, we're gonna boil up some water in a pot, throw them in, wait a few minutes, and serve.
Stir them noodles like you mean it, baby. Oh yeah, making pasta. A little bit of sauce never hurt nobody.
And there you have it, real simple pasta recipe. A little bit of red sauce, 1 serving of noodles. Let me try it out here. That's really good. Just as messy on your face as it is to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check in next time. I like making these videos, so I'll do more cooking videos in the future. Stick around, subscribe, like the video, comment down below if you make the pasta recipe. If it goes horrible, if you hate me and the recipe and everything about it, if you hate cooking, comment down below. If you love cooking, if you love the recipe, if you tried it, it turned out great. If you think this recipe's bomb, try it out for yourself and let me know how it goes. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.